Who's feeling gay fun tonight? Thanks. Welcome to LuLz Comedy Night. I am Randy Bush, your host. This is my show. Tonight we have Vail is here. We have Jon Stenning. Jon, shove it up your butt, Stenning. That's what I like to call him. And we have Shawn Carter here. Jay-Z. Jay-Z is here. So excited. We're gonna get this thing started with me because I'm your first comedian. I just want to take this off. No. Let's see. You guys have been getting street heckled a lot lately. I don't know why. It's not like I'm wearing a bathing suit right now. I don't know why I would. But I was walking through Kennedy Plaza the other day, and this man saw me, and I was wearing. I'm pretty much into exclusively wearing crew neck. Why can't I speak right now? Crew neck sweatshirts. So I was wearing a red one, and I was wearing these mustard-colored corduroys that I have. And this man saw me, and he was so happy to see me. He was smiling, and then right as I got up on him, he said, "Hey, you look like a pepperoni pizza, faggot." I'm not sure if I am a pepperoni pizza faggot, or if I just look like a pepperoni pizza faggot. Like, I don't know how that pans out. There was a period of time where I was wearing a cape a lot, and I would also wear that cape while I was riding a bike. So lots of people doing at me. You know, but I got a pretty tough skin. I think I can take it. I just moved into a new place, and my scruff and grinder is blowing the fuck up, because I am the new dick in town. But I gotta be careful. I think I'm gonna delete Grindr. Do you guys know that the Grindr killer is on the loose right now? Yeah, there's a gentleman just got murdered in Philadelphia, thanks to Grindr. But I think it's only a matter of time. I mean, we've already had the Craigslist killer. It's only a matter of time before all social media has their own killer. So I'm waiting for the Christian Mingle killer. Or the black people meet. That's gonna be great. No, I don't want. No, actually, that's not gonna be great. Have you guys seen this video that's going around on the internet right now about the girl that gets hit in the head with a shovel? No. Yeah. Okay, who hasn't? Raise your hand. Oh God, so many people. I feel really good because I'm always on my internet game. So there was a fight that broke out somewhere in the middle of America where no one cares about anything, and all they can do is fight over each other's boyfriends. So it's these two teenage girls, and they show up and they decide they're gonna have a fight. But before the fight, the gentlemanly thing for one of the girls to do is to show her chicken coop to the other girl, and then they talk about how, like, you know, I don't know that man that that blah blah blah, and then a fight breaks out, and then a girl gets hit in the head with a shovel. That is incredibly dangerous. Don't fight with shovels. Don't do that, because people could end their lives. Over men especially, please. Bitch, you have chickens to feed. Don't lose your life for that. Oh, I gotta get my phone really quickly. I'm sorry. Hold on just a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. I forgot one of my bits has a phone. I'm back! Alright. So Mother's Day is happening in a few days. And me and my sister have this unspoken competition between each other. We try and pick who's gonna have the best card for our mom, and usually my parents live in Alabama, so I have to send things, but I always win because I pick cards that make my mother cry, and the kind that makes her cry the most are the cards that say, "You love me no matter what." Because there was a time, actually a particular Christmas, where I wanted this popple for Christmas, and it didn't end up well. They had got me this popple that looked like a soccer ball, and this is me, but at that age, nothing has changed. I was just as faggy. So they gave me this soccer ball popple, and they gave my sister a popple that looked like David Bowie. And I wanted it. Wanted it so bad. And on videotape, my mom is, "What do you want to do, grow up and be a little faggot?" I don't know why this is here. I don't know what would have given her, oh shit, what would have given her that idea. Sorry. Let me just get this. Also, the dicks that I sucked, that might would have given it away. So, let's see. But my mom is always trying to pimp me out to men on the internet. She trolls my Facebook page like it's going out of style. And anytime any man leaves me a comment, she will send me a direct message like, "Who's Anthony?" And I'm like, "It's just a guy that I want to date with." "Oh, because I see that he works, he's got a really nice job." Yes, he does. Well, you know, you don't have health insurance, so I want to consider it. She also thinks that I'm gonna be famous for some reason. I'm doing comedy on a Wednesday night in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm 31. Give it up. You're betting on the wrong horse at this point. Let's see. I also have started giving advice to children because I think I want to give advice to children. This started last summer. I'd gone with some friends that have kids, and we went to the beach and we were building sandcastles. And when we were leaving, one of the kids was like, "I don't want to go because somebody's just going to destroy the sandcastle that we built." And from my sage wisdom, I just said, "You shouldn't get attached to anything you make. Everyone's going to destroy it." I wish someone was like me when I was a kid. Just laid it out there on the line. I've started recording myself when I wake up in the morning if I've had an intense dream. And I just want to play this for you right now. In advance, there are no jokes in what you're about to hear. But please listen for the sheets rustling, because this is clearly when I just woke up, alright?
Woke up from a dream that started with me working at a restaurant, and it was a really busy restaurant, and I was the only waiter. And we ran out of something, and then Max, who was my manager in real life, is also my manager at the restaurant, sent me out to go get this thing. And when I got there, the business was out of business. It was like, he wanted me to get a lock or something, I can't remember. But then I had to go to another store, and it was a lot, because then I had to go to another store and get a lock. But I couldn't remember what kind of screw I needed to screw the thing down. And I had the instructions with me, but in a dream you can't really read the instructions to know which screw it was. But I remember that I had written on the back of this nudie poster that I was bringing around with me for some reason. I had written it down, so I handed it to the salesperson, who just happened to be Amy Poehler. And I think she was actually I think in my dream she was really Leslie Knope. And then I had to go back to the restaurant, and I was in a van for some reason with Outcast and another person. And the old black lady that was driving the van ended up taking us to a church in this like seedy part of town, and she told me that that's where people tell you if you're going to heaven or hell. And she had like a panel. And I got really upset because I didn't want to know the answer to that. We got out of the car to go into the church because for some reason I was ready to just go in there anyway because I thought it was a hoax. I got pickpocketed, and then one of them got mugged, and there was like a puddle, and another person was walking through the puddle, and somebody tased them, so they got electrocuted. We also made it in the church, and the church ended up being this weird like Vegas-style production laser light show of people being exorcised by demons and people believing it, but I knew that it was fake, and I just walked up and was like, this is all fake. And then it became a game show, and then I got out for some reason, and I was slipping and sliding around the streets of Providence in the melted snow like it was a amusement park ride with Amy Poehler and Rashida Jones from Parks and Rec. It was both, and I'm not convinced that it wasn't their actual characters, Ann Perkins and Leslie and so we're slipping and sliding around, and I'm telling them, I'm probably going to get fired from my job because we were in the middle of a lunch rush, and I went out and wasn't able to return because you guys basically kidnapped me, and Amy Poehler was like, well, you can live with me, it's fine. I said, you don't have a job, and she said, I'll take care of you, and I said, you don't have a job, and she was like, are you serious? I totally have a job, and she's like, and I love you, so she basically confessed her love to me, and then I couldn't handle it, and I started crying.
Normal reactions. That's it. That's for me. There'll be more dream rants in the future. So we're gonna bring up our first comedian, because I was not one. We're gonna bring up Will Vail. Will Vail is one of my good friends and my dungeon master. I love to mention that every time he comes. And here he is.
I'm a dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons, not hardcore S&M. Or hardcore S&M, if that makes you feel more comfortable with me being on stage. So I work at a porn store, and so on Sundays I listen to NPR all day because I like to freak out the people who are coming in at noon on a Sunday to buy a dildo by making them listen to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. But mostly I listen to it because I really like how soothing everybody's voice is, because they can just tell you the worst news, and you just feel like, I can roll with that. Good evening. The time is now 7:30. A giant meteor has crashed into Earth. Your mom's probably dead. In other news. But mostly I love This American Life, which I don't know if anybody's heard, it's not going to be on NPR anymore. It's gone. Their distributor's dropping it, so it's going to be a podcast, but they're also thinking about moving it to Sirius Radio, which is where they move like potty-mouthed shock jocks. It's like Don Imus and Rosie O'Donnell, now that she's dirty again. And Howard Stern, but now it's also going to be Ira Glass. So I picture him like hiring Dennis Rodman to hang out in a glass booth, and then like bringing in Andre Leon Talley and smearing mayonnaise on his butt, trying to stick cold cuts to it. And like eventually the stories will start to suffer for it. But yeah, so it'll be like This American Life music will come on, and then you'll hear Ira Glass's voice. Have you ever smelled a fart on the bus? I wondered, was that me? I'm Ira Glass. Today on This American Life, we're talking to people who farted on a bus. For some, it altered their lives for the better. For others, tragedy. I remember it was yesterday. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was my 12th birthday, December 1st, 1955. I ruined a perfect good pair of slacks. I actually really love fart jokes, which is why I made that a fart joke. It could have been something even grosser. I like to turn the lyrics of songs into fart. Like Elton John's Don't Go Breaking My Fart, and Celine Dion's My Fart Will Go On. And my favorite one is actually a really old song from the 70s, Don't Cry Out Loud, which I turn into Don't Fart Out Loud. Because and I sing that to my cat because I'm an adult. So New Year's resolutions. Most people's New Year's resolutions are done. I'm still sticking to mine. Is anybody still on theirs?
Yeah.
No, just one. My New Year's resolution is actually really hard to keep this year. Last year's was super easy, because last year's New Year's resolution was I was going to tell more strangers that they had a nice penis. And what I mean by that is that anytime I see somebody in like a bathing suit with no underwear, or sweatpants with no underwear, I will walk by and I will give them a thumbs up and I will say, hey, nice penis. And I keep walking, because we all can see your penis, and I think that they should know that we can see it. Sweatpants are already a bad choice, but sweatpants and no underwear is a terrible choice. It's because sweatpants sort of say like my day's done. It's like it's 9 a.m. and you're walking around in sweatpants and your day it's over. You're finished. So yeah, I just like to tell them that I can see their penis. But I actually really love the guys who wear sweatpants in public because I like scuzzbags. Like that's what I do. Like, exclusively, it's like those guys that like burn a smiley face with a lighter on their arm. They like sleep on a couch in like their grandmother's basement. Which means that like because those are my type of guy, there's no porn for me. Because everybody in porn has taken a shower and at least acts like they like me. But like, so like I imagine if there were porn for me, or if there were like a phone sex line, and you would call and be like, thank you for calling 876-GAYZ. Do you like guys who haven't taken a shower today but still want oral sex? Do you like guys who answer their girlfriend's phone call while you're giving them oral sex? I do. So this New Year's resolution is not hate everything, because I'm a hater. I hate everything. I probably hate you for sitting there. And my friends got sick of it, so they finally started saying, like, you need to just stop hating everything before. Like, classic example, my friend Nicole was trying to get me to watch Funny Girl, was trying to get me to watch Funny Face, which I'd never seen. And I said, no, I don't want to see Funny Girl, Funny Face, because I don't like Barbra Streisand. And she said, Audrey Hepburn is in Funny Face. I actually really like both of those movies now. So because I hate things so much, I started writing a blog about how much I hate things so much. Like, I don't like ducks because they're smug. And I think babies are lazy and stupid. And I think peacocks are full of themselves, which sort of makes sense. But I started writing the Hate on Hater blog because I originally wrote another blog that got mildly popular for a while. It's called Porno Paycheck, about my job at the porn store, where I would write really weird stories about things that have happened to me. Like there was this one night that I was reading The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I didn't read earlier because I graduated before that book came out. And so I was reading the book because I'd seen the movie, and it gets to that part where he's in the back of the truck and he's putting his arms out and he says, you know, everything's important because we're infinite, and I start weeping and I look up and a man is just jerking off watching me cry. Which was one of my favorite nights at work. My least favorite morning at work, I came in one morning, there's a little backstory to this. A couple of years ago, in one of our other stores, a guy died, and no one noticed him, and he was in a porn booth overnight. And the janitor found him. So on this morning, it was probably about a year ago, that I hear the janitor in the basement yell, "Holy shit, get down here." And I immediately think, oh my God, someone died. And so I run to the bottom of the stairs, I'm like, who was it? He's like, I don't know, but whoever it was deserves to be dead. And so I was like, Jesus Christ. So I walk into the back and I start to smell this weird smell. I'm like, shit, this is another dead body. And when I get there, the janitor is standing in the doorway holding the door open and holding his face. And he says, you have to see this. I was like, I don't, I'm just gonna go call the police. And he's like, what are the police gonna do? And so I finally walk over to the booth, and somebody had smeared poop from the top to the bottom, and the floor, and the ceiling, and the TV screen. In a really even, smooth coating, which had dried. And so the two of us are standing there trying to deal with the humanity of being inches from a phone booth full of shit when the janitor squirted Windex on the wall and used a rag to wipe some of it away. And we realized that wasn't the way to clean it because we were reanimating the poop. And it became like fresh poop that we were touching. And so what we settled on was, I went and got the window scraper from my car, and we scraped the poop off and swept it up. And it didn't help because the walls had just turned green, and we had to spend like $6,000 redoing that whole section because of the poop. But that's where I work. And so like, people, it's a job, and it's a job that pays, it doesn't pay well, but like sort of, you get to sit around all day. I wrote this while I was there. And so it's all right. It's a good job as a second job, it's a good job for a college student, but people come in and fill out applications all the time, because people will just do anything for money right now. And so people come in and fill out applications, and we have to go through this long list of stuff before they're allowed to fill it out. Like, are you 18? Do you have a car? Are you okay with working after midnight? Most of our clientele are gay. They're going to hit on you. No, it doesn't matter what you look like, they're going to hit on you. They're going to do it more than once. Someone's going to offer you money for sex. You'll see a lot of penises. Your boss will call you on the phone and say words like cunt, and jizz, and cum, and cocksucker, and you need to say them back to her sometimes. Are you okay with all of that? Cool. You're also going to have to sweep jizz-covered rags off the floor at the end of the day. Are you cool with that? I suppose you can fill out this application. And most people just don't make it through training. Because once they get in and they realize like, oh no, you're not telling me the horror stories, you're preparing me for every single day at this job. So I sort of, when I started working at the porn store, it was because I lost a job, I'd been laid off, because I'm an asshole. Like, I got laid off from a job that immediately replaced me because I was an asshole. But I was an asshole enough that I got them to lay me off instead of firing me because they were afraid. So it was sort of like a shitty time, and I decided I should just start writing these stories down. So for 2.5 years, I wrote just about every gross thing that happened at that job. And also gross things that happened to me that had nothing to do with the job, which got a little hairy because it meant that I was writing things about my everyday life that people were then responding to, and they were strangers, and they already didn't like me. Because they had Googled, like, Wendy's hamburger, and what they found was a story about me being punched in the face at a Wendy's. And then they clicked on related links and got a story about my ex-boyfriend who liked to get blowjobs from hookers at strip clubs while I watched. And so I started getting a lot of hate mail, so I'm going to read you a piece of hate mail that I deserved, which actually I read to one of my best friends, and after reading it, she said, they're not wrong. And if you're curious enough, it's a disgusting story that they sent me this letter because of. If you're curious enough, by round of applause, I'll tell it. So here's the hate mail. Will, you are despicable. You give gay people a bad name. Not only are you disgusting, but you're an asshole. You should have helped that man find his tooth. I bet you have AIDS, because otherwise you would have been more scared of having someone else's blood all over you. I have read and reread your story, and I can't wrap my head around what you've done. It is gross enough that you would crawl around the woods having sex with strangers, but to put it on the internet and let people read it as if you're proud of yourself is gross. It took me less than 3 minutes to find your Facebook and your Google Plus page. You should be more careful. Being a whore is one thing. Advertising it is stupid and dangerous. You should kill yourself. Do you want to hear the story? This is the last thing I'm going to say. This is the last story I'll tell. But it's disgusting, so you asked for it. One night I was leaving work. It was around midnight. This was before I gave up having a car. I stopped at the Hess station, maybe 3 blocks away from my store, and I was pumping gas. And the guy at the other pump kept sort of looking at me, vaguely like maybe he recognized me, but also vaguely like maybe he was just sort of like doing the like up and down weird thing. Phone's going off. And so like I sort of was like, pumping my gas and returning the look. And then finally he was like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, not much, do I know you? And he's like, no, you don't, but I sort of want you to. And I was like, oh, you're flirting with me at a gas station. And so I was like, okay, I'll do this back. So we chatted for a couple of minutes, and then he was like, so, do you want to like hang out? I was like, yeah, sure, we can exchange numbers. He's like, no, do you want to like hang out? I was like, oh, you can't come to my house. He was like, let's go for a walk and chat for a bit and maybe exchange numbers. So we leave the gas station, and we're now walking up Route 1 in Attleboro, Massachusetts. And we come to this stretch that's just sort of woods on one side and closed down car dealership on the other. And he sort of is doing the thing that mama cows do to baby cows to get them to go the way they want, like elbowing me towards the woods. And so I go into the woods. And we're walking through the woods, and he's sort of like, being weirdly familiar, like holding my hand and putting his hands in my hair. And so I'm like, all right, whatever, I guess we're gonna fuck in these woods. And so we get down to where there are train tracks. There's this electrical box. There's a giant spotlight next to the train tracks. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this story. And so he tells me to lean against this electrical box, so I do. And he takes my penis out, and he's performing oral sex on me. And I can't really see anything, because I'm leaning on the spotlight, and he's sort of like, he looks sort of like Sigourney Weaver coming out of the refrigerator in Ghostbusters. All I can see is like his brightly lit face and his hair is a halo. But he's giving really good head, which for a gas station guy, that's really fucking great. Which is like really good surprise head. So I'm just like, fine, like this is great. And so like he's really into it. He's really like wet. Like he's got a lot of sweat in his mouth. And so like, I sort of come to realize like, shit, I'm getting a blowjob next to the train tracks. This is some like going to prison shit. So I finish as fast as I can. And when I look down, he's looking up at me with this look like, that was so amazing, wasn't it? And he's got something all over his face, and I can't tell what it is. Oh no. So I sort of step away from the light. And I say, oh, is that blood? And he goes, what? I was like, is that blood? That's blood. That's blood. That's blood. You have blood all over you. And I step back and I look, and I'm covered in blood. Oh my God. And he's covered in blood. And he goes, what the fuck? What the fuck happened? And I noticed that he lost one of his teeth. Right before the blowjob, we were making out and sort of banged mouths really hard. And apparently his tooth had fallen out down, and neither of us noticed. I was sober during this. And so I'm just sort of freaking out because I'm covered in blood, and there's like a tire and it's full of water, and I take my shirt off and I soak it in the water, and I'm washing myself off on the ground, looking for his tooth, and he says, can you help me find my tooth? And I say, I can't do that. And I left. If you want to read my blog, it's porno paycheck, one word, at WordPress, but if you Google porno paycheck, it's always...
Used to sit through that disgusting faggotry of a story. Get out of here! God hates you! So we're gonna have a video now by Will. Okay, so Will and our friend Ben are masters at writing parody songs. All right? And they've had this song they've been kicking around for a while, which is amazing, which you're about to see the video for, which I made. So sit back and relax, this is gonna be awesome. But I have quite a few people to thank for this. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Nicole. And everybody else enjoy Private Raptor. Oh, and before we start this is Private Raptor. Private Raptor will be here after the show if you'd like to take a picture with her. If you'd like a meet and greet with Private Raptor.
Human men come in these places. Human men are all the same. I don't look at their faces, and I don't ask their names. I don't think of it as eating. For me, it's something nature's call. Up and stomping through the forest. Instinct compels me to gnaw it all. I'm a private raptor, a raptor for money. Chew what you want me to chew. I'm your private raptor, a raptor for money, and any old carcass will do. I don't need $1 million. Don't wanna live out by the sea. I need a husband and his children. Yeah, I guess I need a family. I don't really care for veggies, and I've never cared for grains. This dog can jump through their faces. How else could I get to their brains? I'm your private raptor for money. Chew what you want me to chew. I'm your private raptor for money, and daddy old carcass will do. I'm your private raptor for money. Chew what you want me to chew. I'm your private raptor for money, and daddy old carcass will do. Peacocks or ponies, a puppy or a fish will do nicely plenty. I'll eat whatever you feed me. Now tell me, do you wanna see me eat the chicken again? I'm your private raptor for money. Chew what you want me to chew. I'm your private raptor for money. Any old carcass will do. I'm your private raptor for money. Chew what you want me to chew. I'm your private raptor for money. Any old carcass will do.
after, everyone. Here after the show. So we're gonna bring up our next comedian. He's coming down from Boston. His name is Shawn Carter. Maybe you guys know him. No, it's just Shawn Carter. So let's get him up to the stage.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Here you are.
Yeah, cool, yeah. Use that thing. This one's for musicians, it's not for comics. This microphone stand is too complicated. Not gonna use it. This is the weirdest show I've ever been a part of. I love it. It's great. It's fucking weird. I guess we'll start talking about the news, huh? Did you see the story in the computer? There's a story on the internet. There's this guy in Kansas that's on trial for murder that had murder tattooed on his neck. Yeah. Did everybody see this? This is like a big story. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's this guy on trial for murder in Kansas, and he had murder tattooed on his neck, and he petitioned the court. God bless you. And he petitioned the court to allow him to get the tattoo covered up or removed before the trial. Like, because he thought that it might make the jury prejudiced against him. And the court said, yeah, do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, I don't think that's what they said verbatim, but they didn't care. They was like, yeah, get it covered up. And so, the thing is, also, it's a mirror image. It's written backwards. And like, first of all, like, who knows? It's in Kansas. They might not even be able to read it. And secondly, like I said, it's a mirror image, so it's not even really, like, you could read it, I'm sure, but you're not supposed to be the one reading it. Like, he's not telling you, like, I can do this. Like, it's supposed to be, when he looks in the mirror in the morning, he reads it like it's part of his list of things to do. Like, that's the top of his list of things to do, is murder. And then down here it's probably like pick up dry cleaning, buy a shovel, bury this. You always get bury this right above the dick. That makes it ambiguous. It could be a dead body, it could be the dick, who knows? So, yeah, the court said they could get it done. But the other thing is that he also has a teardrop tattoo on his face. So I think the jury's already going to be prejudiced, right? Like, unless he gets like a bunch more teardrops all over his face, and it just looks like rain coming down, and he gets like a sun over here and a rainbow. And then everybody's just like, that guy wouldn't kill anybody. I feel like the game Twister, it says on the box that it's for all ages, but I feel like they really mean one specific age group at a time. You know what I mean? You know, like your creepy uncle showing up at your sweet 16. I brought Twister. Get out of the pool. Because Twister has like a weirdly sexual element to it, right? Like when I was a teenager, if you were like, hey, do you want to go see the movie Twister with Helen Hunt? I'd be like, no thanks. But if you're like, do you want to play the game Twister with Helen Hunt? I'd be like, yes, I do. I'm divorced, and I know, like, I look a little bit young to be divorced, but I was like, it's gonna happen, might as well get it out of the way. Yeah. Do it while I'm young. divorced, they always say that the woman gets everything in the divorce, and I proved that wrong because there was nothing to get. So I went back. I had like this really, it's weird because I don't know, you guys are all young, so probably nobody's divorced yet, but you have this weird moment where you're seeing this person for the last time ever, like this person that you entered into a marriage with, and you're gonna see them for the last time ever while you're picking up your stuff. And like I had this moment, and I didn't like I was just carrying like an Xbox and a bunch of weird Halloween costumes. So it's like I don't even really know how to say goodbye in this awkward situation. I was just like, all right, well, guess I'll just go back to my parents' house now and play Halo 2 and this pimp hat like a fucking baller. And as I was leaving, my ex, she stopped me and she was like, oh, and by the way, I'm keeping the cat. I was like, that's fine, that cat fucking hates you. First of all, like, just to give you guys a little bit of background on my ex, like, her favorite show was Bridezilla. Okay, so that pretty much informs you on everything you need to know about a person. Because if you're like, you can watch anything in the world, what do you want to watch? And they're like, Bridezillas. That's like a guy that's like, I just want to watch girls get cum on their face all day, every day. That's all I want. It's just about humiliating the other gender. That's all that show is about. So that's what she is. So she goes, I'm keeping the cat. And I was like, that's fine, that cat hates you. I was like, that cat would rather lay on the cable box than your lap. Because it's closer and warm, and you're cold and distant. Yeah, she didn't like that at all. She actually stopped me. She was like, excuse me, my cat would take a bullet for me. What a crazy thing to say, right? I was like, the only way your cat would take a bullet for you is if the shooter was using a laser sight. Doesn't know that it's saving you. Just wants to get that fucking dot. So, when I got divorced, well, first of all, let me tell you this. I work as a painter during the day. That's my day job. So it's a pretty good job for an aspiring comedian because I don't have to use my brain much at work. I'm free to just try and think of jokes or whatever. Like the other day, I was painting this car and I was just sitting there thinking. I was like, why is it that I'm stuck in this body? Why is my consciousness in this being? I could have been anything at all. And then I realized that I wasn't wearing my mask and I was getting very high at work. And I was like, this is a pretty good job. But the day that I had to get divorced, I didn't know that I was getting divorced that day. I knew that I was getting divorced, but I didn't know it was happening that day because I had moved twice and I wasn't getting mail at the right address, and so I didn't get the thing from the court saying to show up. So I was just at work at like noontime. I got a text message from my ex-wife. It was like, hey, are you here yet, or are you on your way? I was like, where am I supposed to meet you? I don't know why we would ever see each other again. Except for the day that we sign our divorce. Oh, fuck. You know, so I'm like at work, and I'm wearing like gym shorts and a t-shirt, my old like flag football t-shirt that says Angry Dragons on it. And I'm like, I have to go to court now. So I have to like go across the street to the mall to buy clothes because you can't go to court dressed like that. So I go across the street to this Macy's and I get like just pants, you know, shirt quickly, and I'm on my way out And the cashier, like, first of all, the guy's the oldest man I've ever seen working. Like, he's like, oh yeah, it's been a rough week. I had to put my kids in a nursing home. As he's folding the clothes. And then he took the shirt and he was like, this shirt has French cuffs. Do you wanna, and I'm late right now, so, pick out another shirt. And I was like, no, just throw it in the bag, I gotta go. He's like, okay, puts it in the bag, and I start driving. Like, I had no time to get there, basically. I was gonna be late already. So I'm driving there, and as I'm driving, I'm getting changed. And as I'm getting changed, I realize what French cuffs are. I had never known until then. And if you don't know what French cuffs are, they're on the sleeves, they're just these cuffs that just kind of keep unraveling. And like, there's no buttons or anything. You have to like have cufflinks to keep them closed, or else they just unravel and then just hang. And I don't have cufflinks in my car because I'm not fucking Bruce Wayne. So I'm just like, I know I'm just gonna show up at court like the shittiest magician in the world. Just like, watch me make this marriage disappear. So, I got a new place, I got this apartment, and the first thing that I did is I got a bird feeder for the yard. Yeah, but I didn't put bird seed in it. Instead, I filled it with mice. But I figured, if I'm gonna watch birds, I might as well watch hawks. You know? I like animals. I like cats. Like the cat that I had. I liked it. You know what I don't like? I don't like when people say that they have an outdoor cat. That drives me fucking nuts. Like I saw this woman on the news. She claimed that she owned 97 cats. 97. Like, we can all agree that's too many, right? But she was talking to the camera. She's like, yeah, a lot of them are outdoor cats, and many of them won't let you pick them up or even touch them. And I was like, yeah, that's not your cat. That's just a cat. If just feeding something makes it yours, I'm going to start telling people that I have an outdoor honk. I like dogs. That's the pet that I'd like to get. My landlord says that I can't have one. By round of applause, how many of you guys had a pet dog in your life? And of those people, how many of you adopted your dog? Well, this is a very high number. So like half of you gave birth to them naturally. I couldn't get a dog, so I decided to get a pet snake. A boa constrictor. Full grown, right? Male, adult. I buy the thing. They tell me at the pet store that you have to feed it live rats. But then they go even further. They give me this weird advice. They're like, yeah, before you drop the rat in the cage with the snake, put the rat in a plastic bag and swing it around your head a bunch of times. That way, when you drop it in there, it'll be all dizzy and disoriented, and it won't fight and kill your snake. I was like, no. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just gonna drop that thing in there, level playing field. And if the rat kills the snake, fuck it, I've got a badass pet rat. Because I feel like if your pet can't even eat its food might as well become your pet, right? I'll tell you guys this last thing and then I'll get out of here. What a great audience. You guys are nice. Yeah, woo for yourselves. It's the best time to woo. It's for me. Alright, so I went to a community college, And the first day that I was there, I'm divorced, I went to community college. I dropped out of the community college. I've had a house foreclosed on. Ladies? Okay. I showed up earlier and I was watching that weird animated gay porn stuff, and I was just like, is this really what people are into? So I went to this community college, and the first day that I was there, I was taking this French class, and the first day that I was there, the professor made us all stand up and say something about ourselves. And there's one kid in my class, he didn't have a right hand. He was missing his right hand. And he stood up and he was like, hey everyone, I'm Mark, and fireworks. And I was just like, holy shit, Mark. I knew I was going to a community college, but I thought people there would at least know to throw the fireworks, you know? Like most people watch fireworks, just like, ooh, ah. Mark just lights them, puts them in his hand. Ooh, ah! So that happens the first day. I meet Mark. The next day, second day in class, we get this assignment where we have to introduce ourselves to somebody else in class while speaking French and shake their hand. Some of you were jumping ahead a little bit. Of course I got paired up with Mark. What else would happen? So I get paired up with Mark, and I didn't know what to do because he didn't have a hand to shake. I don't know, like, do I jostle his elbow? I don't know. I was stumped. And so I just guessed at what would be appropriate. I was just like, pound it, bro. And he did. He was cool. I was gonna do the afterwards, but I thought that might bring back bad memories. I guess that's all on me. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Shawn Carter, everyone. I thought it was adorable when he talked about, is this what people are into as far as gay porn goes? Yet he mentioned finding Helen Hunt sexy. I can't think of a woman that looks more like an ostrich than Helen Hunt. Sarah Jessica Parker. No, she looks like a horse. So we're gonna bring up our last comedian. His name is Jon "Shove It Up Your Butt" Stenning. And he is leaving us, so I'm not very happy about it, so get up here, because I don't want to talk anymore.
Thanks.
Shove it. Sorry.
So before I start telling any jokes, I just want to lay down the law on dragons really quick. Any of you guys fans like fantasy and dragons and stuff like that out there? I'd like to talk about how they are commonly misrepresented in today's media, ladies and gentlemen, dragons. Let's start with Game of Thrones, right? Everyone loves Daenerys Targaryen. A lot of Game of Thrones fans in here. Everyone loves her, right? She's got these 3 dragons. Guys, they look more like drakes or wyverns. We're gonna get serious here. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's look at some literature here. Hold on one second. This is called the Book of the Dragon. That's really what it's called. If you notice here in this first full 2-page spread, this dragon here has 6 total limbs. 6 limbs. It has 2 hind limbs, 2 arms, and then wings, right? Now in Game of Thrones, those fucking dragons have 4 limbs. That's not a dragon, that's a wyvern. Wyverns have 4 limbs. They're usually not as smart as dragons. They don't usually talk like dragons talk. And it's just a different beast. So thumbing through this book, it is obviously dedicated to all the extinct species. and that's obvious. Why wouldn't you dedicate it to them? And so we're going to skip past the general information right towards types of dragons on page 38. Types of dragons. The Great Earth Dragon. Guys, there are different types of dragons. It talks about the dragon egg, the young, the social organization of dragons, sea serpent dragons. See, there's so many different ones. Mating in the young. All right, frankly, this book doesn't have all it takes. This book right here is where it's at. It's called Dragonology. Some serious stuff. It's a complete book of dragons right here. It's got a note on the inside, to whom it may concern. If anyone wants to take a look at this, just come see me later. This is some serious stuff. This is all based in fact, so you should get to know it, okay? This is a letter from Ernest Drake. Nice play on names there, buddy. Alright, so here we go. We can thumb through. We got a forward and an introduction to Dragonology. Obviously, we've all covered that so far. Dragons of the world, all of this good stuff. Right here we have a nice little, it's a specimen. It's a wing membrane from a frost dragon, juvenile, 24 years old, right here. Please, if anyone wants to just take a look at these specimens or touch them later, just let me know. I've got nothing to do. Right here we got another specimen. It's a shed skin from an Asian lung, 250 years old. Take a look at that. 250 years old. This is crazy. Right here we got a Chinese lung dragon. You know, a little bit different. These dragons don't have wings. They're usually an Asian lore type of thing. Different species of dragon, other dragons. Right here, wyvern. Unlike most other dragons, the wyvern has only 2 legs. However, being the largest form of dragon, it finds these perfectly sufficient for carrying off its elephant prey. That's what they got in Game of Thrones. That's what they had in fucking Desolation of Smog too. 4 limbs, not dragons. Now let's go to the jokes. Okay, thank you. Just in case you forgot, I am Jon Stenning, and I'm sorry for going off for dragons for a little bit there. I apologize. Since we're in the whole mood for sorries, I'd also like to take this opportunity to apologize to my father, who's in the back over there. Dad, I'm really sorry for sucking on your wife's tit when I was a child. I promise it'll never happen again. So seriously, how many of you guys have parents? I like to consider myself an early adopter. I have a large jar full of fetuses sitting on my bathroom counter at home. No, but it's okay, guys, because my heart's in the right place, according to medical experts. Yeah, nice. Oh God, thank you. Sorry guys, my dolphin allergy's acting up. I was at SeaWorld this morning, and I was like, how much do you think sharks pay for necklaces with our teeth on them? You guys, I'm a pretty big Ninja Turtles fan. I'm not going to get into it about the whole new movie and anything, but I just want to talk about when I was a kid. I love those cartoons, right? You guys like those cartoons? And one day I came up with this brilliant idea to go gather up 4 turtles from the river behind my house and pour radioactive waste all over them. Well guys, actually that good idea was a great idea, because I spent the rest of that day in a sewer eating pizza with 4 dead turtles. Do you ever think soy milk is regular milk just introducing itself in Spanish? You know what really keeps me on my toes, guys? Being born without heel bones. I was reading the paper earlier. Did any of you guys happen to hear the bad news about Little Caesars? Yeah, they're going out of business. Little Brutus stabbed them in the back. I do want to thank you guys for coming out and laughing this evening, but actually it's a pretty sad day in my household. After the show tonight, I'm going to have to go back to my apartment and put my computer to sleep, so just a moment of silence, please. Thank you. I feel like we're at this point in our relationship, guys, where I can let you know that sometimes I yearn for the sweet, sweet kiss of death. I should also let you guys know that Death is the name of my next door neighbor's golden retriever. Does anyone in the audience have neck tattoos? Anyone out there with neck tattoos? Normally they get a pretty bad rap, right? Personally, I love neck tattoos because they really let me know who to avoid. Do you think Ron Perlman's mom's last name was Oysterman? Whoever invented electricity must be rich. Whoever invented cancer must be going to hell. And whoever invented the mute button must be... Thanks. Back in middle school, I had this teacher who would always get mad when kids were staring out the window. She would say, "You're not going to get a job staring out the window all day." Well, guess what, Mrs. Valley? I'm a pilot now full-time, so who's the jerk now, huh? Thanks. Every once in a while, I'll masturbate. Oh, fuck. That's every more than once in a while. Every once in a while, I'll fantasize about masturbating in a hall of mirrors, you know? So I think it could be pretty exciting. You could be like, which one's the real me? Who's gonna come first? When did I get so fat? You guys know James Cameron? Movie director? Yeah, a lot of people like his stuff, right? A lot of people are big fans of Avatar, Terminator, and stuff like that. Personally, the guy rubs me the wrong way. Like, literally, he does the worst hand jobs. And since we're on the subject of James Cameron, Titanic, right? Everyone's big. Do you guys like Titanic? Yeah, it's a classic. Now, the worst part about Titanic to me is right towards the end, the best part of Titanic, when the ship is sinking, and the stern of the ship is way up in the air, right? And some guy jumps off, and right before he hits the water, he hits the propeller. And the worst part about him hitting the propeller, he landed right on his keys in his pocket. That's gonna hurt. Speaking of death, if I die on my way home tonight, someone will find all of those boxes underneath my bed. And yes, it was me. I am not ashamed. Some people actually like Domino's pizza. I secretly hope that all of the men with six-pack abs are just hiding 6 life-threatening tumors. I like to think that I'm a man of few words, like very few words. I'm a minimal word guy. What I'm trying to say is I like to use the least amount of words possible. Few words. Thanks. Are spray tans still a thing? Has anyone in the audience gotten a spray tan recently? Good. Because I find spray tans very offensive. To me, it's just Mexican blackface. I went to the doctor earlier this week for something that I thought was very serious. Turns out it's just a skin tag, guys. I fucked that joke all up. I fucked it right up. I'm just gonna move on. I don't know about you guys, but I think Stephen Hawking is all talk. I was at my apartment getting ready for the show this evening, and my cat was playing with a shoelace. Thought it was pretty fucking weird that she was pretending it was a mouse. But to be fair, she probably thinks it's pretty fucking weird when I pretend my hand is a vagina, so... Now my apartment is a judgment-free zone. And since it's a judgment-free zone, you know guys, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. And I've come to the recent conclusion that there are a great deal of pointless things in this world. Especially spheres. I'm gonna end the show out with one classic bar joke. You guys like classic jokes? Okay, here it is. A man walks into a bar, and all of a sudden the man begins screaming uncontrollably as the corner of the building he just walked into is inserted into his anus. Inch by inch, brick by brick, the building forces its way inside the man as a lymphatic flow of blood and human waste drip down his legs towards his feet. The man knows it is damn well impossible for a building so large to fit inside him. Yet he grits his teeth and forces his ass open wider. His ribs break, his lungs collapse, and now his lifeless body is stretched into the shape of the building that he walked into not 10 minutes ago. The building, now almost fully encased by the man's body, bursts due to the bulging pressure and explodes all over the lot where it once stood. The building now sits and reflects on its failed experiment. For the next time, a man of far greater fortitude must be used, so the building can achieve its lifelong dream of becoming the first bar to walk into a man. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Give it up for Jon Stenning, for Shawn Carter, for me, for Randy Bush, for Jacob, making these lights so bright. Without further ado, oh, hold on one second. First, I want to let you know that on the first Wednesday of every month, we do LuLz Comedy Night right here in this room in front of all of this art, shamefully enough. That'll be June 4th, first Wednesday every month. And I'm going to now introduce you to, for photo opportunities, the lady diva herself, the Private Raptor. Check out over her, it's free.
I'll be sitting on the bench. Anybody help yourself? Show's over.